Hello everyone, it's me Arden Lee. I am back with another video today. And in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the speed and pace of our personal development journeys. I want to talk a lot about timing, the timing of our growth. And I want to talk a lot about avoiding burnout, and yet acknowledging too that it's a very natural and human thing when we set out on a journey to want to get to our end result as quickly as possible, right? We want to get to that thing that we're intending with our personal growth, whether that's our six-figure business, or it's, our soulmate partnership, or it's, whatever kind of physical markers of enlightenment, or of being there, getting there, whatever that thing is, whatever those goals that we've set for ourselves are. I want to take a look at how we realistically approach our pace toward that, because we want it to be authentic and we want it to be sustainable. And we're going to find a lot of people who are promising quick fixes. That's natural. And what do we do? So I want to talk a little bit about that today. If you're not yet familiar with me and my work, my name is Arden Lee. I am the creator of an 8-week course called the Repatterning Project, which is where we gather together and we hack our beliefs. We examine our patterns. We look at all of the things that, all of the unconscious programming that is running within our own human systems, and we start to evaluate it. We start to make that unconscious conscious, and we start to look at where we can make better choices for ourselves going forward, if that is indeed what we want for ourselves to achieve our goals. So naturally, this topic is pretty germane today, because that's what we do. We talk about, we get together and we go on that journey together. And it is a quantum leap. It is a lot of information in a short amount of time, and I've seen people make just vast progress that I wouldn't have believed when I started teaching it. Because of course, figuring out this shit all on my own took me the better part of 2 years. So it's really great seeing it pay off for other people. So that's partly why I want to talk about this subject in particular today. And if you're curious, you want to learn more about the Repatterning Project, go ahead and look at the description box, because I have a link to a free PDF guide you can download to read a little bit more about what we are all about. And I also have a link to the Repatterning Parlor, which is the free group that I moderate on Facebook for people who are interested in supporting each other on this journey, learning a little bit more, seeing if they want to, if the course is right for them or not, if they're a good fit. So come and join us. We would love to see you there. Come say hi. So naturally, I moderate that group. So if you found us here on YouTube, or on a Facebook video, definitely come and say hello. All right. So I feel like this is a big subject with a lot of details in it. The timing of our personal growth journeys is very natural for us, especially when we are at the start of our journey, to want to be at our end result as quickly as possible, right? So whether that's the 6-figure business, the 7-figure business, right? The divine union, the partnership that we can all show off on Facebook and Instagram, all of these big promises, inner peace, enlightenment, healing, all of this stuff, happiness, whatever it is, whatever that goal is. When we start off on that path and we realize that we have a long ways to go, one of our first impulses is to be like, well, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Right? Like, come on, like I should be here by now. Like I want this quickly. And unfortunately, constantly asking, are we there yet, is just another form of being in resistance. I'm going to say that again because that's important. Constantly asking, are we there yet, is just another form of being in resistance. Because the truth is, when we start to, for so many of us, when we start to unearth everything that is beneath all of the mechanisms that have been holding us back, it's possible for us to be incredibly daunted by that. And even well into my journey, I would almost sort of self-soothe by imagining that the end was like just around the corner. Like, oh, I'm almost there, right? And it's funny because, of course, every time I'm there, there's just another door and another door and another door. Now, naturally, there are a lot of goals that I have achieved since going on this journey. So, of course, some of your doors, you will get there and you will achieve that goal, and yet the door will open. You'll be like, oh, this just unlocks a whole new pathway, right? So if there's ever a point where we just get to stop, I'll let you know. But so far, it's this surrender. It's this being open to this journey being bigger and greater than anything you could possibly imagine, that actually does start to speed it up. Remarkably enough, right? The moment that I stopped asking, are we there yet? And I said, fine, I clearly don't know where this is going, and I'm gonna just need to like chill out and trust, was actually when I felt, that was the moment that I felt the skids kind of grease, where I was like, okay, I'm in it, I'm diving deep, and I don't know when I'm gonna come out the other side of it. And that's when things really started moving quickly. So that's number one, that's important to know. So there are a lot of naturally, there are a lot of coaches in a lot of different fields who promise results based on time, and even for me, I'm like, I'm like, my course is 8 weeks, that's not a lot of time, and I promise a pretty big transformation, but the promise I really make is about not so much about your journey being completed when you're at the end of that 8 weeks, but rather that you have all the tools to keep navigating forward, right? We take you from that place of not knowing what to do to knowing what to do in every instance. We equip you to go on that journey, and so much of that journey naturally will happen during the course itself. But I think I would be really, I think it would just, like, even I couldn't buy myself if I was like, yeah, you're gonna have your soulmate and your 6-figure business in the next 8 weeks. Like, that's that's not exactly how that happens. There's what you are going to have is you're going to have everything that you need to then bring those things into being. Everything's going to get better and better and better, and you're going to start seeing where things work, and you're going to go, oh, I know how to do this now. I know how to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, which is great because that I do feel pretty confident promising, is the fact that you'll get to a place where you really know how to practice discernment, how to go about your goals, how to hack everything and make everything. I'm like, you guys know I teach belief hacking. So even inherent to belief hacking in itself, inherent to anything that's hacking, it's all about finding those shortcuts, right? But if we find a shortcut that isn't actually a shortcut, then it's not actually a shortcut. I'll explain what I mean by that. And what I mean is, if we're looking at something that we think is going to get us there faster, but then it doesn't actually get us there because it's a false bridge, it's a false hope, it's a cheat code that doesn't actually work, then we're going to be really disappointed, and we're actually going to waste more time because we've actually been in denial of what something is all about the whole time, right? We've been in denial of the kind of surrender that path requires from the very beginning, if we're still looking for the are we there yet energy, right? So if you're going down a path because someone's like, yeah, I can, it's going to be quick, it's going to be easy, or whatever, just watch out for that. There are naturally, naturally there are going to be coaches who who promise very quantifiable, tangible results that are realistic to get in 6 weeks, 6 months, a year's time, whatever that is. And if you look at their client testimonials, naturally you'll be able to see if that holds up, if that holds water. But when it comes to a real personal development journey, it is so much a dismantling of the things that we already know and believe, that understanding the depth and breadth of the journey enough to anticipate when we're going to feel like we're there at the start of it, oh my gosh, your whole world is going to crumble. Everything that you thought you knew is going to all of a sudden get rearranged on you. And you're not even going to be the same person in many ways that you were when you started. So you're not going to have those same fixations on time, you know? There was so much that I wanted to happen for me so quickly when I started, and I was so focused on the result and on getting through and getting to the other side, that I really failed to realize that the person I was meant to become, there was no way at that point at the start of my journey that I could even imagine the me that I am today. Right? That's kind of why we go on these journeys to begin with, is because we really can't imagine at the start how amazing everything's going to be, because most times if we could imagine it, we would be there already, right? If we knew that that was something that we were capable of, that was possible for us, then we would already be there. So it's already about destroying those old structures, destroying those old belief systems, and coming up with something new, and coming up with something so beautiful that there's no way you could have been aware of it before, or at least aware that it was possible for you, because you definitely would have chosen it if you could, right? Because it's your goal, it's your dream, it's what's in your heart. So I just want to put out there that I want to just advise people to be wary of trying to anticipate things with linear time, when halfway through your journey you're probably going to be making the switch into quantum time anyway. And quantum time means, when I use that term in terms of personal development, quantum time means that you understand that you can control the speed at which things happen based on the inner work that you do in yourself, right? So the more you show up as the self that you want to be in the world, the faster your results are going to happen, right? So for me, it's like I go externally, I'm like, what needs to happen? What do I need to see around me? And then I go internal and I do the deep dive, and I'm like, all right, what in me do I need to change in order to manifest those external results? And that's essentially playing in quantum time. That's, that's what I mean when I say that. So when you get to that point and you have all of those spinning plates, man, I mean, you're just going to have so much of a more sophisticated understanding of how everything works. And in a weird way, like, you're not going to be in a rush anymore, because you're going to have so much to occupy you. You're going to have so much creative power to play with. And of course you'll get you'll get it's not like I don't know how to adhere to a deadline, right? Like, I've released EPs, right? I know what it's like to be on a deadline. I know what it's like to to need to schedule my content in a regular manner. So I'm not speaking about those very tangible things that, maybe you can get a coach who can make you a promise to scale you to 6 figures within 6 months, and that's completely reasonable. That's maybe like one tangible goal that in that time, yeah, absolutely, you could do that. But when we're talking about our personal development, really in the sense of who we are and how we view the world and reality and ourselves, and what it really means for us to step into our creative power and step into our best self, who is then capable of manifesting all of those smaller goal-oriented tangible results, like releasing the EP and the content, and making the 6-figure business and all of that stuff. Yeah, I guess the advice that I want to give you is to dream bigger, really. Because when you're at the start of that journey, and when you're asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet? The thing that you're imagining being there is not anywhere near as good as the end result that you're going to get when you really surrender to that deep journey and let go of all the things that you thought you knew or needed, or the ways that you were doing things previously. That desire to cling to time is a desire ultimately. That attachment to time, that attachment to when things happen, is honestly, it's a manifestation of our clinging to the ego. It's the ego not wanting to go away. It's wanting to say, no, this is who I am, and I just want to get through this and have this done, and I don't want to change too much. But you got to get your hands dirty, you got to dunk your head underwater. That's where the real work happens. So my advice to you is just, I wanted to talk a little bit about avoiding burnout too, but I'll talk about that. I'll make another video since we're already at 16 minutes for this one. So my advice generally for this topic is, if you are really feeling that need to rush your results to get things done in a certain time, just dream bigger. Dream bigger, because the result that you're ultimately going to call in when you do that work is going to be so much greater and more amazing than the thing that you even think that you want right now. So, yeah. Tread lightly, go easy on yourselves, and don't rush the process. Even though, yes, you can take things quickly, don't underestimate how much growth is available to you. And that's a gift, Don't underestimate how much transformation you are capable of before you get to that level. Yeah. All I'm saying is, I had no idea who I would be a couple of years ago. Wow. It's changed a lot. And that's a really cool thing. And I would not have gotten here where I am if I had resisted at that point of the journey. If I continued to resist anyway. So I advise you to think the same way. Thank you guys for listening. Come join me in the Repatterning Parlor. I'll see you there, and I'll see you in the next video.